Hi, I'm Officer Roy Paz with the Tampa Police Department, and it's time for On the Road with Roy. Let's go! Hello, Tampa Bay, and welcome to another episode of On the Road with Roy. That's me. Hey guys, we're at 6505 South Dale Mabry Boulevard at the McDonald's owned by Casper's Company. Casper's, thank you again. We'd always like to thank you so much for allowing us to come in and use your McDonald's for these interviews and things. And guys, we're right at Inter Bay and Dale Mabry. If you don't know where that is, it's in like super South Tampa, okay? And if you go out here in front of McDonald's and you hang a right, guess where you're at? You're right at the front gate at MacDill Air Force Base. And guys, the reason why we're here is, right away, this week is Veterans Day. And we got a real treat for you guys today. We have Susan Libertz with us, who is the Military Liaison Officer for the Tampa Police Department. Susan, welcome to On the Road with Roy.
Thank you, Roy.
Hey, Susan, thank you so much for joining us today. And this is really exciting. I'm super excited about this topic. Number one, I was in the Air Force, so I love the military and such. And number two, it's Veterans Day, and there's a lot of responsibilities and things as the Veterans Liaison Officer with the Tampa Police Department. But before we get into that, if you don't mind, we just want to ask you about you a little bit. Libertz, where does that name come from?
That name originated with my grandfather. He was brought over here years ago from a great-grandfather, actually, from Italy. So it was Libertazzo, Libertazzo, and at that point in time, it was shortened due to he felt it was easier to gain employment by changing our last name.
Yeah, a lot of folks did that back then. A lot of folks did that.
Right.
Do you speak any Italian at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I love the food. I love the food.
You love the food. I like Italian food also. All right. And Susan, do you have any hobbies that you do?
Any hobbies outside of work? I'm also in the reserves at MacDill, so a lot of my time is consumed by drill weekend, and also I have a 10-year-old son who plays soccer, so my daughter is 19, she plays flag football in college, so I have other things.
So you got a lot going on outside of all this stuff. Yeah. But the military, so you're literally in the military also. You work for the police department, you're in the military and stuff. And what do you do there in the military? It's Air Force, right?
Correct. So I joined in 1999 as Security Forces member. I've been in December 15th will be 22 years. So I've been fortunate enough to have several responsibilities in the military, and I just recently transitioned to the Inspector General's office.
Wow, 22 years.
Coming up.
And Inspector General, I'm only 21, so, no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking, I'm more than that. But wow, 22 years, that's great. I mean, you've been in quite some time.
Yep.
And how long have you been with TPD?
TPD, I joined with Largo in 2010, and I transitioned to Tampa Police Department in 2012.
Wow, that is so interesting. And that's something, you got like two jobs that you do, two major jobs and stuff, and the IG's office. What does that entail? You guys do investigations there? Is that what it is?
We do. So it's fraud, waste, abuse, complaints. So any kind of administrative complaint, depending on what it entails, would depend on whether I would handle it, or our officer would handle it, or whether it would be generated to a different OSI, maybe if it was criminal. It just depends on where it would go.
Wow, so that's pretty important stuff.
Yes, sir.
That is something else. Hey, so let me ask you, Susan, I got some little notes here and stuff. As the military liaison officer, that's huge. A lot of people don't think about it. I think it's one of those positions that people know that there's military here in the Tampa Bay area, but it's huge. I got some little notes to share with you just to give you kind of a perspective and the scope on what Susan does, okay? Here in Tampa, in Hillsborough County alone, there's 19 Department of Veteran Affairs health facilities within a 50-mile radius, okay? That's only second to Washington, D.C., which has 25. So that's huge. Also, the only city in the nation to host two major commands, which is Central Command and also Special Operations Command. And then that translates into just here, in Hillsborough County alone, I believe, is 14,000 active duty members.
Correct.
And then over 100,000 retirees.
We also have MARCENT and SOCCENT, which is the Marine Command over here. So we have a lot of responsibility at MacDill Air Force Base.
Yeah, and you know, I know just because I grew up here in Tampa, Tampa absolutely loves the military. They absolutely love it.
Absolutely military town.
But with you, you're kind of that liaison for all these folks. I mean, that's 100,000 folks there, and also, do you handle the veterans at the police department too?
I do. So the 100,000 is countywide. We have about 17 to 20% of that within the city of Tampa. We do have internal issues and external issues, and that's where I'm fortunate enough to have individuals out of the Crisis Center, out of James A. Haley. We have a lot of resources within our area that it's not all just on me. It's a phone call away.
Yeah, that is something else. And there's, like you said, all the way from issues from just something simple as maybe doing a TV announcement or, I mean, like a news announcement or something else like that, to handling folks that are struggling with mental health issues and things like that.
Mental health, finances. Some individuals are struggling due to the fact that their military member may be deployed and they don't know how to get answers. They don't know who to go to. Although they're a spouse, they may not be familiar with MacDill. So they'll reach out to me to help them get in contact with the correct resources.
I never thought about that. I mean, that is something else. And so are you out at MacDill often?
Not as often in the IG world. When I was a first sergeant, I was down here quite often, but I'm here 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, and then depending on what we have going on. But if it's anything involving the liaison position, I will literally drive down just to meet someone.
Right. Now the chief of police relies on you quite a bit too, right? So if there's any issues or anything that he has to convey out to the military, does he contact you?
He does, and he is very involved. He has taken a lot of time out of his schedule to make sure not only the program is going okay, but he also spent a full day when he was the major at District 1 with MacDill to see what the mission was all about. He spent a day with the refuelers. He actually saw the mission in the air, the refueling of the plane, and just to get to know the troops, because he was genuinely wanting to know what we do.
Right.
So it's huge to have his support.
That is fantastic. That is huge to have the chief's support and to have someone like yourself helping him out with all that stuff. That's just phenomenal. Now, I would imagine too, the sheriff's department may have a military liaison too. Do you ever have to deal with them or anything like that?
They do have individuals who deal with their military. We have relied on them for some of their programs that they have when they have troops returning, because they're very organized with a checklist of what they have to go through when they leave and also when they come back. Basic, like where their equipment's going to go, where their weapons are going to be stored, where their vehicle's going to be stored. So we relied on their checklist to just stay organized. Wow.
And I know like when Tampa has a hurricane, that's a big deal because MacDill is right down at the bottom part of Tampa, right? And so there's always a threat of flooding and stuff like that. And I know that they have to move in, a little further inland when all that stuff happens. I would imagine you're very busy during that time as far as coordinations and talking and all that with them.
Sometimes during hurricanes at MacDill, they will ask us to step up to help them clear the dorm rooms out, to get the troops and the members to higher land, because it's essential personnel only during a hurricane, so we can't leave all of the civilians and the troops on base. The jets have to move. They have to get them out of the area. So it does get hectic, but it's very organized. Tampa is a military town. They're used to it. They're used to the floodwaters.
Right.
So.
Now, I know that MacDill this year, I hear that they may be having Airfest this year. And if you don't know what Airfest is a huge air festival out at MacDill Air Force Base. And they used to have it like every year, then every other year, and then COVID came and it just kind of took it out. And Tampa misses Airfest. I mean, they've got the Blue Angels that come, they got the Thunderbirds that come. It is a huge event. The Motor Squad, we work traffic out here like crazy during Airfest, so it does get kind of packed. This McDonald's, you could barely move in here when Airfest
Roughly
is going.
100,000 a day is what they use.
100,000 people a day. So do you know if they're having Airfest this year? I keep hearing that they are. They are. Okay, woohoo!
March of 22.
March, okay. So it's right around the corner, guys. So if you haven't been to Airfest before, it's worth it. Well worth it. It's a lot of fun. A lot of airplanes to look at. You get to say hi to the military members and things. Do you go to Airfest yourself?
I don't go. I go to work one of the booths. We actually set up, and being a part of the top 3 organization at McDillon, I used to be part of the First Sergeants organization. We actually worked the booth, and we were able to profit for our nonprofits from working the booth. So that money goes back toward the airmen. So we volunteer those days. It's not on orders. It's out of our time, and then this way we're able to give back to our military members.
Oh, that is really nice. Really. Well, I am looking forward to Airfest this year. Okay, I really am, and although I'll be working it, it is still fun. Every day on the motor unit's a fun day. Okay, it is. Every day is a fun day. All right. Well, I tell you what, I've got some. I got some things to ask you, Susan. Okay, and. With that being said, you know, when you're out and about, you're dealing with a lot of military members, and you're dealing with people at the police department and also in the community and stuff like that. So you always got to have a good joke for them when you're out and about, okay? And I'm sure that you've got a lot of good military jokes, but I got some ones here for you today, and we'll see if you'll be able to answer them if that's all right. All right?
Give it a shot, Roy.
Okay, so here we go. This is the Military Jokes 2021. Woo! I got to drink some sweet tea. Yeah. Here we go. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
What month do all troops hate? Now, you know, all troops, they go 12 months out of the year. There's got to be a month that all troops hate.
I'm going to go for March, Roy.
Yeah, you got it right on the money. Right on the money. It's March. Get it? March. Anyway, that's good stuff. Good one. Good one. I'll give you a high five on the side for that one.
Thanks,
okay?
Roy. Thanks.
All right. Here we go. Here's the next one. What's the best jobs for babies in the Army? I know you're Air Force, but this would be a good one. What is the best job for babies in the Army?
You got me. I don't know.
The infantry. The infantry. I got a
You got a laugh in the background. Yeah, you did. Got a little chuckle.
Okay, all right. And I love this. This is my favorite one, okay? And remember, I was in the Air Force too. Great job. I loved it. So this is a question for you.
Okay.
How do different military branches use the stars? The stars up in the sky. How do different military branches use the stars?
I'm looking forward to learning this one, Roy. How?
Oh, all right. I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
All right. The Army sleeps under the stars. The Navy navigates by the stars. And the Air Force picks their hotels by the stars. Get it? Right?
I do, but it's true.
It's
I'm
true.
not really sure if that's a joke, Roy.
I'll agree with that one. Yeah. No, that's a good one. That's a good one. Hey, and Susan, that's our jokes for today. So hopefully you'll be able to take those out to the community and give them a smile or whatever, you know. But Susan, you know, in the military, they have something called challenge coins, and that's where the military, they exchange these coins. And I guess if we're sitting somewhere to have a drink or something like that, and I was to present my challenge coin up, if you didn't have one, you would have to buy me a drink. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And vice versa. If you did have it, then I have to buy you a drink, right?
Correct.
All right. Well, we have a challenge coin on the motor unit. And we like to give these to special people like yourself, okay?
Thanks, Roy.
So I am going to give you this challenge coin, and this is how you give a challenge coin. You put it in your hand, and you give a good shake like that, and that's your challenge coin, all right?
I appreciate you.
Yeah, so next time if I throw it up, if you're ever at McDonald's and I throw it up and you don't have yours, you got to buy me a sweet tea, right?
That's a deal.
Or vice versa.
Done.
Or vice versa. All right. Hey, Susan, we can't thank you enough for coming, and we can't thank you enough for what you do. Not only your liaisoning with the militaries here for the Tampa Police Department, but your service that you give to the country also. I mean, that's just phenomenal, you know, and you're still juggling all that, and you have kids and everything else, and you really are a special person, so thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. And hey, guys, we're going to be signing off now, okay? So we hope you enjoyed this. Remember, tune in next time, and if you're out in the community and you happen to know where we're going to be next time, we try to advertise this as much as possible, and you must ask me a question. Come on down, because we'll be here to answer that question, all right? And guys, as they always say in the military, we'll see you next time. We don't say that. Okay, we'll see you.